This is the Action Movie Guys podcast, bringing you action movie reviews from across the decades, plus box office numbers and insight like never before. And now, your hosts of the Action Movie Guys podcast, Alex and Nate.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode number 214 of the Action Movie Guys podcast. I'm your host, Nate, and this is my co-host,
Alex Figueroa.
And on this episode, we are wrapping up our female-led Action Month Part 2, right? Because we did this before. This is our second round, giving the females some love. And before we even get started, Alex, this is kind of shocking because this is our first movie that we've done that stars Zoe Saldana, who is, guess what, in 3 of the top 5 highest grossing movies of all time, the only actor in 3 out of 5, and we ain't ever done one of her movies before. Pretty crazy that this has taken 214 episodes, but you know what? Let's give her some love. We got a little Zoe Saldana. We got a little 2011 Colombiana. Now, Alex, this is the first time watch for you, right?
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Okay, so this is a one-time watch for me because I saw it at the theater and then today. So I have now seen it 2 times, and this was, again, 2011, directed by Olivier Megaton. Now, I always call him Megatron. We have done one of his other movies before, a little movie called Transporter 3. So that was the other one that we did. I think he did one of the Taken movies, which we haven't done yet. He's part of the Luc Besson school of, French filmmakers.
French filmmakers.
Yeah, so filmmakers. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into it. Now, before we do, let's do a little Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see what the people think. Let's see what the critics think. Now, this is going to sound familiar. If you've been listening to our last few episodes, you've noticed that both Resident Evil movies had very similar scores to this, because this one sits at a 27% with the critics. Not very good, 27. But it has a 67% from the audience score. So much higher. Apparently, the people preferred it to the critics. Anything surprising there to you now that you have seen it, or not really?
It's a 40% drop, but honestly, from watching the movie, I'm not going to review it, but from watching the movie, 27% is a little kind of hard. It's really hard It's really hard, to be honest with you.
You would think this is like just a total stinker with no redeeming qualities.
I agree.
But it doesn't matter because we're going to go ahead and give you our take on it. Now, Alex, you get to go first, of course. So you're going to be talking about our lead character. She is, of course, played by Zoe Saldana. Her name is Catalea. She is the titular Colombiana. What did you think?
All right. So I liked her character. I thought she was good. Okay, so she had a story, right? She had a backstory, which was really good. You got to see it at the beginning of the movie. Parents getting killed. She was a little girl. Then you see her doing some parkour throughout the Colombia. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a genius way to start the movie also. You could see where she comes from and everything. Thought it was great. Leading to 15 years later, which I was like, so she's 15 years old? She looks like Zoe.
No, she's like 15 years later. She would have been like in her 20s.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, whatever. So she's 20. So I was like, okay, cool. So I started laughing, but I was like, I kind of liked it though, because she looked kind of young, so it kind of worked. I liked the whole back. So the thing is that she's like, she can't be flagged because her file was sealed from the CIA. We're going to talk about her storyline because there was some weird stuff there. But in terms of her, she's like a spy. Now she trains to become an assassin to seek revenge for killing the parents. So that's pretty much the whole movie in a nutshell. How did she do it with her character? I thought she was really good. At times, I felt like she is not an action star where she's holding her guns. It looked kind of stiff. It didn't look natural. Like when you see like Charlize Theron with a gun, or Mia Moakovich, or I'm trying to figure out. I can never say her name right. Yeah, her.
Alice.
Alice. It doesn't say Alice. Even Gina Carano, like when they're shooting. Yeah, Angelina Jolie, like when they're shooting weapons, it kind of looked natural. There's scenes in this movie where she's shooting a gun. She looks very stiff. Like in the instance, and towards the end, she has 2 machine guns and she's standing still. It looks so like the gun is going to blow her back with the recoil because she's so thin. But that's just nitpick. That's just me. But overall, I thought she was a great character. I gave her a 5. She had the element of, well, how can I say it? Her acting for this character was so awesome. Like she brought that character to life. So I felt emotionally connected to the character. I guess that's the word to say. Yeah. So I liked her. In the badass scale, I'm gonna give her a freaking 4.5. I think she's really good. She's not a perfect. Again, with a sequel, I think I would have been like, hell yeah, but In this first movie, a 4.5 for badass. What do you got?
You know, if you have ever seen any Luc Besson movie and then you watch this, you're gonna be like, oh yes, this makes a lot of sense as far as how this character is. If for all his faults, one thing he does well is and he was one of the writers, pretty strong female characters, right? Because you have Mila Jovovich, of course, in The Fifth Element, one of the greatest characters. La Femme Nikita, of course. No, we did Lucy, which weren't crazy about the movie, but it had a female character in the lead who was, so it's kind of a staple for him. Good for him, giving the lady some love. I agree in that I think Zoe Saldana's performance is like better than this movie, if that makes sense. And I'm not saying the movie's bad, because we still have a lot of categories to get to. But what I'm saying is she acts like she legit is acting in this film. And it helps. I think she's a great actress. I love Zoe Saldana. Let's get that out the way. She's a nerd queen as far as her projects, right? She's in Marvel movies, Star Trek movies, Avatar. Like, she does sci-fi. She does genre. I love her to death. And I think she's a really great actress. One thing that I think helps her, too, in the action scenes is she is a trained dancer. So anytime she has to move, her movements are fantastic. Like, when she's crawling when she's crawling around, if she's climbing. Yeah, like, you believe it. You'd be like, okay, she moves physical. Her physicality is fantastic. I agree. She's super skinny. So some of those scenes, like, I really like when she's dragging around that big gun, but you could see at one part, like, they're in the garage, and I don't know if it was really heavy, but she looked like she was really struggling to hold it, which in a way I kind of like, because that makes it more realistic, right? Like, she's not some big, strong Arnold Schwarzenegger type. It would probably be hard for her. So in that way, it kind of works, but I totally get what you're saying. I like her backstory. She doesn't show up until 30 minutes into the movie. The first 30 minutes is like a little kid. She's like a little kid. You know what? I think it's a really strong character. She's out for revenge. This has shades of Leon, the professional, especially when she's young. And it has shades of like La Femme Nikita, or even the American version we just did, Point of No Return. Like, it has shades of those kind of characters. I gave her a 5 too. I think Zoe Saldana as a whole is the best part of this movie. Like head and shoulders. Her character and her acting. I think she knocks it out the park. So you gave her a 5. I gave her a 5. I don't feel any different than you. So now let's go to lead villain. Now, technically the lead villain is a guy named Don Luis. Now, he is a cartel boss leader. And then he has the henchman guy who's played by Jordi Mola, of course, who's like got the light eyes. He's just a henchman, though. Yeah. But he gets more screen time, so I don't know what's going on. So yeah, I'll let you go ahead with the villain.
I'm going to do the cartel because he's the one who put the hit on the parents. So I'm going to go with him. He's a 1. He didn't do nothing. Let's just, I'm going to call it like it is. He didn't do nothing. He sat down with the parents in the beginning. I mean, with the dad, gave him a hug, faked it, and then he put a hit on him. Fast forward to when Colombiana's an adult. She shot a missile. He hid in a closet.
And then he escaped in a van.
And got ate by dogs. So
he got eaten by dogs. Yeah.
If you really think about it, his character freaking sucks. And we're doing villains. Now, if we were doing my man Diego from Bad Boys 2, because he was the villain, right?
Jordi Mola, the character's name is Marco.
Marco, right? If I was going to do Marco, I would have gave Marco a 3 because he was really good in his scenes. I don't think he was better. He ain't over the 3. So
no.
Overall, so you could go. I gave it a 1. I don't think the cartel sucked.
I gave it a 2. I pretty much agree with you. I think the lead, maybe I factored in the Marco factor because I do like that guy. I thought he was cool. And he does fight her. Like, he fights her one-on-one. So I'm going to give it a credit. Now, if I agree with you, though, Don Luis sucks. First of all, I hate the way he looks in the beginning scene with his hair is so stupid. Like, what is this guy? He looks weird. I like him better when he has the short hair. He looks a little more normal. That was a terrible wig that they gave him at the beginning of the movie. But yeah, he doesn't do anything. He has other people. Well, technically, that's what you do if you're a cartel boss, right? Like, you're not the one that's out shooting people usually. You tell someone else to do it. So in that regard, okay, it's accurate. But in the regard of an action film, he don't shoot nobody. He don't stab nobody. He don't know. All he does is hug the guy, tell the other guy to go kill him. And he does it. Marco kills him. And then he hides in a closet. And then he drives away in a van and gets eaten by dogs. And that sounds funny. And it's literally exactly what happens. He gets eaten by these 2 dogs. So I would give him a 1. I will give Marco a 3 like you. I will split the difference. I give him a 2. as a whole, like the villain unit. And technically she's a villain. Really, she's out here killing people like crazy. So she's our hero of the story. Yeah. So we can't score her. Okay, action.
It's a 5. Action, it's top notch action. Now, Luis Bazan does his writing for action is really good. Again, we didn't do Taken franchise, but what I remember from the first Taken movie, that is what made the movie the movie. Yeah. And this one, it is really good. I love her stealthness killing. I thought it was really cool. And then when the action picks up towards the end, it's just great. I think the quality of action is really good in this movie. I love the scene with the shark. When she killed the dude with the shark, it was awesome. I was like, I loved it. I mean, it was just really smart genius of that. And I love how she came in under the water. I was like, that's a cool way to enter. I thought the sequence at the end was pretty much the best part for me in the movie is the house sequence, her breaching in. My man said, there's no way for her to come in, and you just see a missile just come right into the front door.
That was hilarious.
I never seen that in a movie before where the villain is just like, yeah, she ain't gonna come. We have so many things, and you just see a big ass missile just come right into the front door.
A slow missile too, like you could see it traveling.
It gives him enough time to jump out the way. I thought it was genius of that. I thought it was cool. I love how she goes under the house and shoots her way through. Honestly, I thought it's a really well done action movie. There's nothing wrong with it. I think she was really great in her sequences. I thought she was really good. Her hand-to-hand, they gave her the Liam Neeson camera trick where it's super fast when she's fighting this Marco.
I wonder if that was for her or if that was for him.
I think it was for both.
I think it was for him. Because when you're a dancer, you can learn choreography well. I wonder if he was just like, I can't.
There's a scene that he throws her, and you can see it was a body double. Because the hair goes over the face. And I was just like,
yeah, I'm sure she had
I was like, you know what?
I
was like, there's no excuse. You know what? The other chicks could do it. I was like, you could have did it too. But she's fragile. She would have flipped the disc, hernia.
Yeah, too skinny.
Yeah, too skinny. But I will say this, though. That's just a little nitpick, the hand-to-hand, because she didn't do much of that. It was mostly gunfighting and stealth killing. But I liked it, though. I thought it was really good. So I gave it a 5. I thought it was perfect action for this type of movie.
Yeah, I actually really like the scene in the apartment complex when she's trying to escape, when the guys find her picture. And then the cops come with the SWAT team, and she like blows up the apartment. She goes through the other apartment, gets that huge gun. She's crawling through the ducts and climbing and jumping. And I like all that. And I like the beginning part too. When she's a little girl, like the scene when they're jumping through the little neighborhood in Colombia. Like, I thought that was cool. It was well done. You know, when those guys are chasing her, camera work is good there. I have complaints later about other stuff, but when it comes to the action, I thought it was solid. I gave it a 4. And the real reason I gave it a 4 is because what you just said, like that hand-to-hand fight is just okay, but I minused like 0.3 of a point because she fights him with toothbrushes. And I'm like, what is that gonna do? Like, she's holding the end of these toothbrushes as if they're gonna hurt so bad. It was stupid. Maybe like if she had a regular brush, you know, like a thick wooden brush. Okay, she had 2 little skinny. She's like jabbing him like you're not gonna stab him with them or anything like that. Other than that, I think I agree with you as far as the stealth. I love the stealth stuff. I love the pool scene. I love the shark scene. I thought that was fun. It was bloody. This version's bloody. And if you watch this, watch the unrated version because it got way more blood. When her parents get shot, there's like a lot of blood splatters, and it was pretty violent. The PG-13, I don't remember there being. I'm thinking it just cut away when the sharks eat him. You know what I mean? But yeah, I gave it a 4. There's not enough for me, to be honest. There's long stretches of non-action, and some were better than others. But I think on the whole, it's really good and well done. Okay, here we go. Storyline.
Storyline. A 4. I think this is a great storyline. I actually dig the storyline. I was really into the movie. And it's weird because, like, I was like, am I really going to like this movie? Because I know her from sci-fi movies. So it's not like I could go, you know, Star Trek is sci-fi action. Sci-fi. But it's not that type of action movie. Even Marvel movies, she's not, you know, action. She's like, Gamora is like the best fighter ever. So in terms of this type of movie, I never seen her in. But I thought the storyline was great. I love these type of revenge stories when you just see, and especially cartels. You don't get much cartel movies out anymore. You know, you got the Sicario 1 and 2, but not as much. It's not like a genre that they make more of. So in terms of this one, I kind of liked it. I love the beginning sequence with her as a kid. I love it when it gets right to her as an adult. I love the chemistry between her and her uncle. I thought it was really good. I liked that a lot. I thought it worked well for the movie because she did get them killed. And he told her, don't do it. Don't pursue it. And she pursued it. And she got her and Mama killed. So I was just like, damn. I was like, that kind of sucks. But it fueled her. Why? Because it gave her the Nate pissed off character. And I was like, yes, I
she
loved
shot that
it.
rocket at that house.
Yeah. But I loved it, though, because she went right inside the armored truck. And I said, this is some badass shit. When she got an armored truck with all these guns, I was like, that is pretty cool. The ending storyline, right? So the ending for me was the weakest point because I thought it was kind of weak. The dog's eating the guy, and then all of a sudden she's on the run. I was like, that's a typical generic Bourne type ending, type character ending. So anyway, with that, because it reminded me of Peppermint, right? Yeah. Peppermint, she was in the hospital and then they let her go. So her legend.
Peppermint copied this because this came out first.
Well, I'm just
it copies
saying,
all those movies. I agree with you.
Yeah. So anyway, other than that, I gave this a 4. I thought it was a great storyline.
Well, this is where we're going to depart a little bit, my friend. This is where we're going to depart because the best way I could describe this movie for me is it is overstuffed and yet it's undercooked. And I'll explain. There's so much going on, but none of it's fleshed out as well as it could be. This is 2 movies, and both of them would be good on their own. This is a revenge story, okay, where she sees her parents get killed. She goes to live with her uncle. She wants him to teach her how to be a killer so that she can get her revenge. And you could have just done that storyline straight, and this movie, and it didn't have to change too much, and it would have worked. There's certain things you have to change. This is also like a spy movie where she's doing contracts. She's like getting paid to kill these people who mean nothing. Like the people mean nothing by the end of the movie because this wants to be 2 different movies at the same time. This wants to be the revenge movie and this wants to be the cool spy thriller. I think it works as a spy thriller and I think it works as a revenge, but for me, it doesn't fully work as both. So I had some issues with that. I'm like, okay, like this stuff with the cop and he's trying to catch her. And really, if you like, I know this was your first time watching it. Watch it in a couple of months and just watch the first like 45 minutes. And the amount of stuff that happens that where you're still gonna like kind of nothing happens. It's incredible because you have her as a little girl. Like it's this really long, that should have been the first 10 or 15 minutes of the movie. Not 30 minutes where she's going, you gotta like follow her all the way to Chicago. Then she buys a bus ticket. Then she gets on the thing. Then she goes to the school. Then she and it's like, okay, this is dragging. And then when she's first introduced as an adult, she has this whole hit scene that's really long in the jail and she's creeping around. Now it's cool, don't get me wrong, it's cool, but it's like, what has happened plot-wise to this point? Not a lot. Like, I don't know. I just had some issues with the script. I just think it was too much going on and both were great ideas, but it was a little too erratic in my opinion. So I actually gave it a 2. I think the storyline is I think it's weak because it doesn't know what it wants to be. It doesn't know what it wants to be. It doesn't know if it wants to be that thriller, that spy thriller. Look how it ends. She gets her revenge, right? So then it's like, okay, there's the revenge storyline all done, which is not, I agree with you. It's not satisfying. The guy gets eaten by dogs. She doesn't even like kill him herself. And then how does it end? Her on the phone, hangs up the phone. I thought the Bourne music was gonna play. That song that plays at the end of all the Bourne movies. Yeah. The Moby song. Like, oh, so now we're back to it being like the CIA, the government's trying to chase her. It's like they wanted to have their cake and eat it too. So for me, it didn't entirely work. It was a 2 for me. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Hopefully that made sense as far as my explanation. But
no, it does. That's very interesting.
Yeah. So overall,
I gave this a 4. I liked this movie a lot. I thought it was very good. I liked the storyline. I mean, I do agree with you. Was it long in the beginning? Yeah, it was. I mean, that whole traveling sequence was kind of long, but I kind of liked all the other stuff around it when she went into the embassy and she vomited on the dude's table to give him the thing. Yeah. I thought that was pretty funny.
Chip thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought overall she did a great job with the character. I would have loved to see a sequel with this character, but then again, I would like to see a sequel with Peppermint. I'm a sucker for these type of characters because I would be like, oh yeah, give me more. But I don't think this thing did any good because I saw it for like $5 everywhere. 43 million, I think, box office US. So not amazing. Yeah. I mean, I could see the problems because again, Luis Besson is not one of my favorite writers. He did great movies that I enjoy, whether they're Taken 1 and Fifth Element. But other than that, I feel like there's something about his writing style that I'm not like. I can't.
Very European because he's French. You know,
Yeah.
it has those. This movie has those European sensibilities about it.
Yeah. Didn't he do The Transporter? Isn't that his franchise?
He wrote and produced the Transporter movies, the Taken movies, this, Lucy. As far as directing, he did The Fifth Element, The Professional, which I think is his best movie, Valerian, The Family. Like, he does both, but yeah, he's like a big writer producer.
Yeah. So, you know, look, I personally, I'm picking it up. I'm going to buy the $5. I mean, it's $5, so you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the movie. I liked the character. I think she was fun to watch. And you can quote me on this. Was this movie supposed to be Natalie Portman's character from The Professional as the sequel?
I don't know, but it could have worked as that way. Maybe it started that way at some point and then they just, changed it. But that's what I did say. This gives you vibes of that movie if you've ever seen it, and I wouldn't have been surprised if this started as that.
Oh, okay. I've never seen The Professional, so I mean, most likely we're gonna do it in this
we gonna do it.
episode, one of the episodes, future episodes. But yeah, I gave it a 4. What you got?
Yeah, so I love Zoe Saldana in this. I thought she was great. She's gorgeous. The performance was really, really good. I really liked her. The action is solid. Like, it's solid. It's really good. It's fun to watch. For me, the story knocks it down a bit. Like, it's just too all over the place. I still gave it a 3. I think it's a good movie. So I agree with you. I think it's watchable. I thought I owned it, and I didn't. I would definitely pick it up on Blu-ray. As a matter of fact, I was at my used bookstore the other day, and I didn't buy it because I thought I owned it, and when I got home, I didn't have it. So I wish I just picked it up then because I was already there. So when I go back, I plan on grabbing it. It's definitely a good, it's a good solid action movie. It really is. The plot's a little, but yeah, I enjoyed it for that. Now, when I was watching it, this was 2011. This is just me. But I think just watching Zoe Saldana in this, she would have been a really cool, Selena Kyle or Catwoman. Especially at that time.
I was going to say that. It just crossed my mind. Yeah, she would have been
She would have been great because she got the look. Beautiful. You could believe her. She got the moves down, with that cat-like kind of, even when she's in maybe it was because of that jumpsuit that she was in, but the way she's climbing, the way she was, I was like, she would have been, this is the same year as Dark Knight Rises. I love Anne Hathaway, but I think she would have been just as good as a Catwoman. Not anymore, I think, at this point, but I think they could have done it back then. But there it is. So yes, I gave it a 3. You gave it a 4. What's your total?
Oh, another thing that nitpicked me before I say that.
Sure.
The orange, the way they shot in orange annoyed me. Now I understand
tint.
what you talked about with the colors.
They do this crap.
I hated the beginning of the movie because it was so orange when they were in Colombia. I was like, why is it so saturated with orange?
He was trying to make it, maybe he was like, this is South America, it's hot.
I don't know. I guarantee you, if they would have did a 4K, most likely those sequences would have been very nicely tanned. But I think because it was Blu-ray, I think they would have color correctioned a lot of the movie. But I was just like, why is it so saturated orange? And then I was thinking of you going with the blue underworld. You hated that shit. So that was my only nitpick. But other than that, it's 21 out of 25. I really like this movie, and I'm definitely going to be picking this up for $5.
There you go. Yeah, for me, it's a 15 out of a 25, but it's good. I think it's good. I think it's fun. I think it's very watchable, but good had stronger villains. Good had a stronger script for me. Either way, great scores. First time watch. You enjoyed it. Look, you discovered a new movie that you're going to pick up. That's great. So next week, we're going to continue on with another orange movie. We're going Resident Evil Extinction, the one with the sand, as I call it. And then we are starting a brand new set of reviews. This is going to be very interesting. Now, we're going to be doing double because the Resident Evil movies are also this, but we're going to be doing some video game-based action movies. So these will be movies that are based on video games. We didn't look for accuracy. We just looked for action. So we got some fighting. We got some car movies. We got some monster movies. We got a little bit of everything. And first up is going to be a little movie, I think 2014 or 15, Need for Speed, starring Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad. Little Michael Keaton in there. So it's a driving action movie, and we're going to be taking a look at that. Have you ever seen it?
I never seen it. Yeah, Need for Speed is the next one.
Need for Speed. Yeah. So we're going to do some Need for Speed, which is a game that me and my cousins wore out on PlayStation. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. That was my jam. So I haven't seen this since the theater. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, I never seen it, so I can't judge it. But I never
Watch, you're
played the
gonna
video
love it.
game. So, I mean, look, with that said, guys, if you want to follow us in our social media accounts, please follow Nate over on Instagram at Netflix Reviews. Check out the podcast with him and his friends called Netflix Movie Reviews. Anything action movie, guys, head over to youtube.com/Geeks and Flicks for the video version of the podcast. The website is down. We are doing some construction. We're actually making a brand new website for you guys, easier to navigate, easier to watch and listen to your podcast and join the Patreon and pick up some merchandise. But if you want to pick up some t-shirts and you want to support the channel, you can head over to geeksandflicksstore.com and there's discounts. I think I put discounts for stuff. So other than that, he is your host,
Nate from Netflix Reviews.
I'm his co-host, Alex Figueroa. Be awesome to each other and geek out.